Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing amazing. Let's get started here. Welcome to February 10th, episode 1445. And let's move this over here. Hey, good morning. All right. Here we go. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's conversation. Today's conversation is going to be, let me pull that off. Hey, today's conversation is going to be about manipulative or consciousness, manipulation consciousness. And what I mean by that is, do you want people to do your bidding? When you're having a conversation with somebody, or you talk about a conversation where maybe you got a little hot under the collar, and I'm not talking in a good way, and that hot under the collar, you all of a sudden, you start to talk about people and tell people, you know what, I told them that they should have done this, and I don't know why they don't do that. That's called manipulation consciousness. If you want other people to do your bidding, if you want other people to act the way you want them to act, now I understand as a parent, you want your kids to do a certain thing. Hey, good morning, everybody. I am Royalty. Good to see you. This conversation today is going to be a little bit, I don't want to say stern, but it could push a couple of buttons. And know that I love you, right? Drop an L in the chat if you know that I love you. And some of you are like, I don't even know who the heck you are, Skipper. Let me pull this up. Who do you think you are with your Tom Selleck shirt wide open? Anyways, I just dated myself. Manipulation consciousness is when we come up with ways, we come up with sayings, we come up with moments that we can sensationalize a particular moment in history into our favor. Now, how many of us are really realizing right now that maybe sometimes we sensationalize our arguments so that we can be the one who wins? Wallace D. Wattles in the book Science of Getting Rich, written back in 1910, has a little mantra, a syllabus that goes throughout the book. And about 3/4 of the way through the book, it says this phrase, we must move from the competitive to the cooperative. How many of the arguments that you've had in your entire lifetime are still ongoing? There might be one or two. You've had thousands of arguments in your life. You've had thousands and thousands of moments to want your point seen, to want to express your view, to want to dominate a conversation. You've had thousands of them. How many of them are still running the game? How many of them are still alive and active? And those that are still alive and active, if they're more than 2 days old, they are killing your soul. How many of you drop an R in the chat if you've ever had an argument with somebody and they were not in the room, drop an R. They were not in the room, drop an R. And maybe you weren't speaking out loud. You were just muddling and muddying and getting so frustrated and just having the conversation. Do you realize that's a definition of insanity? Talking to yourself, arguing with somebody who's not in the room. This is a manipulation consciousness. I'm telling you, I know it hurts. I don't want to be the one to let you in on the secret, but you are wanting to manipulate somebody against their will. Do you know how easy it is to complain about somebody when you're not on the field? Why don't you pick up the phone? If I were talking to you, or how many of you have had a friend, why don't you pick up the phone and call them and get it straightened out? Now, I'm not going to call them. How many of you said that? NC, drop an NC. I'm not going to call them. Somebody said they were a little bit, they were your friend. They were your best friend. They said, why don't you pick up the phone and call them? I'm not going to call them. They should call me. That's manipulation consciousness. So you've been told, you've been wired, you were told to believe that that's okay, that you were fine doing that, that that's how it should be. Listen, your dreams are in an argument with you right now. This one's going to hurt. I hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't. But as many times as I've practiced this, and as many times as I've done my best to prepare everybody around me for it, I don't seem to get away without a bruise or a scratch or a scar or opening an old wound. Your dreams are arguing with you right now. Write that down. You won't even like to write that down. Write that down. My dreams are in an argument with me. What do you think your dreams are in an argument with you for? Your dreams are debating with you. Your dreams are pulling you, making you wake up at night. Your dreams are making you sleep in late, hit the snooze button. Because your dreams are in an argument because you're not sitting in your creative state. You're not sitting in your creative consciousness, your cooperative consciousness. You are not sitting in your dangerous consciousness. Well, Sean, how do you know that? Are you struggling for your dreams? Let me ask you, this comfort zone that you sit in, that you tell everybody and you complain about, I got to get out of my comfort zone. I got to get out of my comfort zone. I got to get out of my comfort zone. How many people do you know to tell you, I got to get out of my comfort zone? If the reality is true, that where you are going, this just makes so much sense. Please pay attention. This idea that your dreams, where you want to go, are you going to be in pain when you arrive? Let's say you could wave the magic wand and instantly have your $100,000 a month income. You could instantly have all of your expenses paid off. You could instantly have every car and house that you want for your family, your mom, your brother, your aunt, your uncle, your kids, your mistress, right? Or your mistress. Is there such a thing as a mistress? What do you call that? Anyways, if all of that came true, would you be uncomfortable? Would it? Tell me, drop an NC, or I mean a UC for uncomfortable. A sugar daddy, that's it. Mistress. Welcome. As soon as I step out of the 1800s. So but that's not fair. It's not fair to call it a sugar daddy. Some of them are not sugar. They are not even sweet. Just saying. So if you would arrive at your dreams instantly and effortlessly, would you become uncomfortable or comfortable? You C for uncomfortable or C for comfortable? When you arrived at your dreams, your income, your expenses are all gone, all of that stuff, and you have more money coming in than you have money going out. Which would you be? Comfortable or uncomfortable? The majority of people say they would be comfortable. Then how is this your comfort zone? Do you understand the manipulation that's happened to you? Do you understand how the manipulation has happened to you, that you're just in lockstep with everybody else? I got to get out of my comfort zone. I got to get out of my comfort zone. How do I get out of my comfort zone? No, you're in a freaking pain zone, and nobody wants you out of your comfort zone, because if you get out of your comfort zone, you're going to leave their income stream. See, I have a division of my business is called Mental Profits. Your thoughts create your income. And money has very little to do with your income. This is about everything that comes into your life. I started that 20 years ago, before I knew I would wind up here as a neuroencoded specialist, as a brain-trained specialist by the Amen Institute, as a mental toughness specialist, as an addiction to approval specialist by the Gove Siebold Institute, that I would be on the board of the Self-Talk Institute. One of 20 who are on the board of the training side of the Self-Talk Institute. Little did I know that when I started Mental Profit, your thoughts create your income, that all of this would come true. It started, trust me, I was uncomfortable the whole way. I was never in my comfort zone. I'm not in my comfort zone now. And if you think you have to step out of this comfort zone, you are forcing yourself to have an uncreative consciousness. Let me ask you, some of you live in some cold temperatures. Some of you have been around some days that have gotten very cold. Would you go outside unprepared, undressed? Would you go outside in a towel wrapped around your waist with nothing else on to say, I just want to go outside and be uncomfortable? I've got to get out of my comfort zone, my house, to go out into the outside elements where it's snowing and sleeting and it's 20 below zero, and I need to go stand out there in just a towel, people would have you committed. It'd be one of the few times you'd be committed. I love you. So why is this step towards our dreams, this step towards our future, this step towards what we want, why are we lying to ourselves and saying, I gotta get out of my comfort zone? Let me ask you. Here's a tough question. Let's unlock your creative consciousness. Do you know one thing you could do? Just drop a 1 in the chat if you do, or a 0 if you don't. A 1 if you do, a 0 if you don't. Do you know one thing you could do today to move your business forward or to move closer to your ultimate dream? I'm not saying that you got to take 1,000 steps. Do you know one thing? And if you know the one thing, can you now drop a Y for yes or an N for no? Can you do the one thing? Can you do the one thing? Yes. And if you can do the one thing and you know the one thing, once you do that, here's the next question. Drop a 2 in the chat if you know you could do the second thing, but you got to do the first thing first. Stephen Covey said, keep the main thing, the main thing. You got to keep the main thing, the main thing. How many of you know you could do number 2? Not number 2, right? You could do the second step, but you're doing number 2 all the time on your dreams. Wait, what the hell did he? Yes, I did. So you can now do step number 2. And now if you do step number 2, can you do step number 3? If you do step number 2, drop a 3 in the chat. If you know that if you did 1 and you got the courage and you got the confidence and you did 2, and oh my God, this is starting to move in my favor, could you do step number 3? Then I got a question for you. Who the frick is manipulating you to keep you from step 4, 5, and 6? Because it's not you. You just proved you know what you can do to get to step 1. Because I promise you get to step 3, you can do to step 4. Who has manipulated you? Who has manipulated you? They're not manipulating you now. You are already wired, programmed. You are set to fail. You are absolutely fine with frustration. You're fine with frustration. You're fine with being aggravated. You're fine with having to live with lack. You're fine with having to live with lack. That should fire you up. That should piss you off. That should get you yelling at the screen at me. Screw you. You don't know who I am. No, I don't know who you are, but I know how you've been manipulated. Why? Because you're wanting more. If you want more, you're manipulated to okay with having less. Just think about it. Just take the gloves off for just a second. Take your desire that you know that sometimes you're a piece of crap and you feel that, and you know that other people tell you that you're not good enough. You got an accent. Your language isn't this. Your skin color isn't that. You're not tall enough. You're too old. You're too young. I don't give a crap what it is. You have been manipulated and you like feeling like a piece of crap. Whoa. See, now I've fired up your awareness. See, you are so numb sometimes. Most of the people that I work with are so numb to the pain they sit in, they don't even want to talk about it. Listen, I got 13 people on Instagram who are absolutely crazy, out of their mind, misfits. And I love you. I don't want you to ever have to feel comfortable. The comfort zone that you have to get in is about feeling like a piece of crap, feeling you're not good enough, feeling didn't do enough, feeling you don't have the capability or the capacity. That you need to get uncomfortable with. You need to push that aside. You need to become uncomfortable. Here's the uncomfortable Here's the uncomfortable I would suggest. I don't want to say you have to. I don't try to give you directions. Although if I know it works, but I can't say that it works for you because it only works for me and the thousands of people I've helped. I don't know if it'll work for you. There's a good chance it might work for you. It could work for you. Become uncomfortable with falling in love with yourself. Become uncomfortable with saying, I love me. Just say, I love me. How many of you drop an F in the chat that feels funny? I love me. Just be honest with yourself. This is where you need to become totally honest with yourself. See, if you say, I love me, then it feels funny and you're like, I can't even say those words. I got one honest person in the VIP chat. Cool. So what I mean by that is if you start to fall in love with yourself, guess what happens? Law of attraction. See, I just manipulated the people who just started adding the Fs a little I manipulated him. Well, I don't really know if I love myself or not, but no, now he said, I got on one person. Shit, I better type it in there. You follow me? This is how easily we are manipulated. I'm manipulating you to a higher level of imagination where you have no responsibility to me. Think of this for just a moment. Let this sink in. Let this float into that brilliant brain of yours. Words have power. And the words that I'm using, yes, they are manipulating you. They're manipulating you to take responsibility for you, not to do shit for me. I'm manipulating you such that to get you into the standard of living, the standard of thinking that you know you're capable of and that you know that you deserve. How many of you feel a little frustrated that sometimes you're just barely making it through the end of the month? Some of you are not ready for an emergency that could take you out of your game for 2 months. 2 months of income go away. What happens? Now, I understand you might be in the network marketing world, and congratulations. Thank you for being part of one of the most powerful professions in the world. MLM, me loving more. If your team hasn't fallen in love with you, and if all of a sudden you had an emergency that you had to go take care of, does your business fall? Does your business fail? Does your business not have its leader? And if your business needs you as a leader, if all of a sudden you disappeared for a week, a month, a year, would your business still be there? If it wouldn't, it's because you are forcing people to let you be the leader. And I don't know that that's a good thing. Listen carefully. This is the reality of consciousness. This is the reality of humanity. And most people won't talk to you like this because they're usually the ones trying to promote you, trying to invigorate you, trying to inspire you to go build a business so that your check goes up. Your check goes up. I want your check to go up. I want you to build your business, but mine goes up too. We're having a brass tacks conversation here. There might be only a handful of you that are in the same business that I am. There's only less than a handful of you who are probably in my organization. Now, if I was having this conversation with a Latin American market a year ago, 2 years ago, I'd have 30,000 people in my organization. I'm not having a conversation with my Latin market. I'm having a conversation with you right now. And if your business would start to falter if you didn't show up for a day, a week, a month, a year, you are requiring people at an unconscious level, unconscious to you, now conscious to you, you're requiring people to have to let you lead them. And that's not a good business model. That's why 98% of the people in network marketing rarely make a check above $5,000 in total income before they quit and move on or quit the industry. This manipulating consciousness is so good. They've become so good at it, so good at it. Marketing is so good at it. Listen, whether you believe in the little stick or not getting the stick to keep you from doing the cough, because if you say any of those words on the platforms I'm marketing in, this video will disappear. Now you know what I'm talking about. We polarized ourselves so much about who got it, who didn't get it, who got it. I'm going to get it. The third one, the fifth one, the fourth one. And you can manipulate. How many of you know sometimes, how many of you feel maybe the data over the recent episodes in our global environment could be manipulated based upon who is presenting? I'm dropping M in the chat. How many of you know some of the information was manipulated? That we have become so good at that. We have become so good at that. We have become so good at hearing it, seeing it. We've learned how to manipulate it without even thinking we're manipulating it. You want to hear a manipulation conversation, a manipulating piece of marketing? You should be here. That's a manipulating piece of marketing. Do you make as much money as you want? Do you have total life freedom? That's manipulation, because you are manipulating somebody from where they believe their average is to reminding them that they are less than, that they don't make as much money, that they don't have as much free time. Listen, You have less free time than they do because you're the one trying to manipulate them to join you in your business. You're trying to have conversations with multiple people. You got less time than they do, and you're selling time freedom? I'm sorry, what? You do not have to change your life to become a person who helps people change their lives. You do not have to have life-altering changes. You do not have to have a manipulating conversation for you to be able to help somebody else change their life. The guy that coaches Tiger Woods in golfing, do you know his name? Why don't you know his name? Some of you may do if you're a fanatic of golf. You don't know his name because he never probably won a championship. He's just a great coach. He's a great mentor, a great mindset mentor as it relates to the game. He can see the things that others can't. Here's the thing about you. When you decide to dig in, dive in, and when you become conscious of your own awareness, you can become conscious of how other people's consciousnesses are holding them back. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Drop a 1 in the chat. You don't have to be a 7-figure income earner to go build 7-figure income earners on your team. The funniest thing was about 20 years ago, I became a coach for MLM University. How many of you ever heard of Hilton Johnson, MLM University? I was his #1 coach. I had 70 clients. I was his #1 coach. I was the #1 performance coach. I had the best results with my students. It's because I never really spent 20 minutes. I spent a lot more than the 20 minutes. My point was this, is that I had 7-figure and 8-figure income earners coming to me because their checks were dropping by 100,000 a month and 100,000 a month. And they were dropping significantly. And I got their checks back. Here's the ego that one had. Here's the ego that one had. They were a royal diamond in the company that I was also a company in. I was also a distributor in that same company. And they loved what I was doing and what I was teaching them and how I was helping them understand. They were shocked that, well, I understood the product line, how well I understood this and what they were missing and where the recognition was going wrong. And somewhere after about 6 months and taking their check from 180,000 a month back up to $500,000 a month, all based upon the coaching I was giving them 20 years ago, I'm much better now. But then I was pretty good too. They realized what rank I was in their company, and they quit. They quit me. Their ego couldn't handle that a 1-star was helping a royal diamond. How many of you feel that you are currently at your 1-star level, and you know that if you had a chance to help people find their vision, seek their soul, and unlock their dreams, that you could help the royal diamonds who are around you? Here's the difference. I wasn't afraid to tell them what they're doing right and give them strong suggestions of how to improve what was going wrong. See, I wasn't afraid to have a dialogue. Too many of us want to have a monologue, a manipulating conversation. We want to tell people, and since they're good manipulators, you don't want to have that conversation. You don't want to call them to the carpet because you're afraid you're going to be called to the carpet. This isn't about my success. It's about your lack of commitment to your dreams. Doesn't matter what rank you are. Doesn't matter what income level you are. Doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are. All you need to learn is the power of questions and ask. I would ask, how committed are you to your dreams this week? How committed are you to your business plan this week? I don't have to be a 17-figure income earner to ask that question to anybody. How much are you committed? The challenge is I think I have to coach them. I don't have to coach you to the next step. You just told me that you could do step 1, 2, 3, and 4. You got to do them in those order. That's called syntax. Syntax is the way you assemble things, right? I don't put the box of cake mix in the bowl and the eggs in their shells in the bowl and stick them in the oven and turn it on to 350. I mixed them together. I did what it said on the box. No, you did it in the wrong order, knucklehead. So there's something called syntax. And syntax is we want to go from step 1 to step 10. And we're like, I know steps 2 through 8, 2 through 9. I know all of those. I've already done those. You didn't do them this time in this order. This making sense? Drop an S in the chat. This is how your consciousness manipulates you. And if you want to unlock that consciousness, if you want to finally, once and for all, have the syntax, have the right things in the right order, do the first step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and start today. You can start today and do this. I would encourage you to go to finallyconscious.com, www.finallyconscious.com, and get signed up for the workshop that's starting, the Dangerous Consciousness community that's starting on Monday. And after Monday morning, it'll be closed, probably till April. Why? Because I'm going to work with the handful who want to become the stars in their community. And I can do it for probably 75 people. 75 people this first round. Then I'll have other people in the community helping and doing other things. But I'm willing to commit to 75 people to go help you get to 10, 15, 20 grand a month by the end of the year, if not sooner. Well, Sean, you said it's not about money. No, it's not about money. It's about what Jim Rohn said. The way you increase your income is you do what? Provide more what to the community? Provide more what to the marketplace? Provide more what? Value. The only reason you're not getting paid for what you think you're worth is you're not providing the value, period. End of story. End of story. No argument. Doesn't matter your race, color, creed, religion, height, weight, skin color. Doesn't matter. Religion. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter whether you've been in this business for 20 years or 2 minutes. You have to learn. You have to learn how to provide value if you want more income. There's no way around it. There's no other way around it. There's no other way around it. You can go create an NFT and create $1 million. It's because you provided value to the marketplace by learning how to create an NFT. You can go learn crypto and trading, and you provide value to the market, to literally the market, this trading market, by providing value by buying at the right time and selling at the right time. You don't know how to create enough value to the trading market. That's why some of you fall short in your trades. Listen, I don't do the trading. I hire somebody to do my trading. Their commissions last year was over $300,000. Their commissions. I think they'll pay pretty close attention if they're getting paid their commission. See, in network marketing, we get paid a commission, but we don't pay any attention to our commission to make sure it keeps going up, keeps going up, keeps going up. What do you get paid for? By providing value to your marketplace. My broker, my stock trader made $360,000 off of me. None of that ever came out of my pocket. It didn't come to me. When the trade got closed, we split it. I'm okay with that. The reason I say this is that I understand how to bring value to the marketplace. I made more than that. And ask me how many trades I did. None. How can you go do what you're good at? How can you go create income at what you're good at? How can you go fall in love with what you're good at and do the things that you're good at so that you can help others have more of what they want? The reason people have a hard time following you is A, they don't have their vision, so they can create their own. You don't have your definite major purpose, so they can't get theirs. And all they know is they wind up in this kingdom where there's a nice, kind ruler, but everybody's peasants in their kingdom. They're told they're nice. They're told they're wonderful. They're told how incredible you are. When you start to enroll people as their own kingdom, as their own sovereign, as their own community, you will have different conversations. When somebody asks you, how do I do that? That's not what a king would ask me. That's not what a queen would ask me. What do you mean, how would you do that? Well, how do you think you would do that? Well, I try this. We'll go do that. See how that works for your kingdom. Too many of you might be. There's a chance that you might be afraid to create your own kingdom because you were never told that you were worthy or that you were a queen or king in this world. Well, I'm here to let you know today, February 10th, 2023, you are a sovereign. If you're faithful and you say the words, God's got a kingdom prepared for me in heaven. God's got a kingdom prepared for you here. If he's got a kingdom for you in heaven, he wants you to be able to tell the word, spread the word, tell more people, show more people, give more value. And that means that you got to build your kingdom here, ladies and gentlemen. You can't act impoverished. You can't be in poverty and expect that the kingdom that the kingdom that you're going to have in heaven is going to be built for you equal or more than what you have here. Well, if I just get to heaven, no, you're already in heaven. You're the one making it hell. Oh, geez, I just lost like half of the people because I just got religious on you. You're the one making it hell. You were born into heaven, and why have you made it hell? Because you're pointing the finger saying them, 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 them. That's called manipulating consciousness. And when your ego comes back, you're edging goodness on as opposed to edging goodness out. When you're edging goodness on, you bring more value to the marketplace. Your money goes up. And Napoleon Hill says, you'll wonder where the hell all this was when you were during all the lean years, when you were living in hell. The pain and the suffering. I got to get out of my comfort zone. Just say, I got to get out of hell. You'll change the way you say it. You won't be in lockstep with everybody else. I got to get out of hell. I got to build my heaven here now. People will look at you odd. And for once in your life, you'll be on path. For once in your life, you'll be on target. For once in your life, you'll be motivated to take care of you and stop trying to fix everybody else. Y'all okay? I love you. I love you. Join me tomorrow for Money Consciousness. Money Consciousness. We're going to have a conversation about money consciousness tomorrow at 8 a.m. Go to eventswithsean.com. Go to eventswithsean.com to join us in the Zoom room. And what would happen if all of a sudden your level of money consciousness changed so that you are no longer debilitating and deleting your own success? I got success. It went away. I got success. It went away. And we're going to stop the roller coaster ride of going down into the dungeons of losing money. In the words of Jim Rohn, hey, listen, I'll take care of me for you if you take care of you for me. I'm your head brain training misfit, Sean Murphy. I'll see you all where? At the next Dangerous Consciousness conversation. Till then, bye for now. YouTube, love you tons. Love you tons. Hope you have an amazing day. I will see you all where? I will see you at the very next Dangerous Consciousness conversation. Join me tomorrow. Join us in the Zoom room. Go to eventswithsean.com.